Good morning, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be with you all, thank you, Veena, for that amazing intro. So as you guys see, the question, I'm starting with a question. Do you take care of your gut pets? So if you really just cover the word gut, I'm asking you, do you take care of your pets? And it's not actually your dogs, cats. It's actually something that is living with you, which I call the pets. And you will agree with me towards the end of this session why I like to call them pets. So basically, for the next few minutes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually give you a little bit of science and understanding what is this gut. I mean, many of you know about it, but I'm going to give you some more information with a science explanation why even we need to bother about these guys. And also, what would be the habits that we all are doing in our lifestyle that is affecting these gut pets. And lastly, I'm going to give you enough of tips, and these what I call nuggets that you can take and apply immediately in your life. I request you, at least if you can take one tip that I'm giving you today and apply in your life, I assure you will see results. Yeah. So feel free to share your comments, and even if you have questions as I speak into the chat, so that I will be able to answer those at the end of this session. Yeah. So the first explanation is to understand what is gut. Okay, some of you may know already. So it's basically gut is the entire digestive system, which is starting from your mouth, esophagus, stomach, intestine, liver, colon, rectum, gallbladder, all of these, right? And what is the importance? We all know the common one. We need to digest food. It helps us absorb the nutrients and excrete. Simple as that, isn't it? Now, here is the key. We've got lots of creatures living with us in this system, which are the bacteria, fungi, virus, and their cells and their genetic materials. I must say the word virus or bacteria over the past 2 years or so, more than 2 years, had really freaked us out. And we feel, oh my God, the moment you hear the word virus, you need to get rid of those. You need to make sure that you're safe. Of course, it's true, but not all viruses, not all bacteria are harmful. So what's happening here, because we are not aware of these goodies, we end up destroying the good ones as well, while we focus on the bad ones. So I want to bring this awareness that we need to take care of the good ones as we destroy the bad ones. So trillions of bacteria, not millions, trillions of bacteria are living with us. And not only they're in our gut, in terms of our intestine, they're in our mouth, they're between our teeth, they're in our nostrils, on our skin, and even in our genitalia. So if you really look at it, more than 5,000 species are around with us. 5,000 species as of now, according to the science, and this weighs nearly 2 kilos. So for those of you who had been wanting to lose weight, you are so conscious and getting onto the scale and looking at the scale and thinking, oh my God, I'm not losing weight. Remember, 2 kilos are your gut bacteria, so deduct that. So you will not feel so anxious about the weights, okay? So when the next question would be, what is healthy gut? A healthy gut, remember I said there's trillions of bacteria and microbes. So that means when we have a balanced ecosystem, this is like a world on its own. And when we don't have a balanced ecosystem, that's when our gut health goes to a haywire. And why do we even need to bother about it? Because first one, it manipulates our energy level. So if you don't have a good gut health, you are not going to be having the right energy. And you will feel you're feeling sick all the time. You're falling sick all the time because it affects your immune system. And then the mental clarity, very important. All of us, whether it's to do with your stress or the way you react if somebody cuts you on the road, or your mood when you wake up, everything is now influenced by this. I'm going to give you the science of that. And why am I even bothered about talking to this subject to you is, one, I have lost my gut health a few years ago, and it took me years to get back to where I am today. Plus, as of worldwide prevalence and burden and functional gastrointestinal disorders published in 2021, 40% of adults are suffering from this kind of issues. And 1 in 4 UAE residents suffer from digestive issues. And this time of the year is where I have been having a lot of clients approaching me, like, talking about gut health, especially we are all fasting for Ramadan, right? And women, we are more likely to get affected by imbalance of these beautiful beings. So now that we know, yes, they need to play, we need to take care. Where do you think you get beginning that you are in your mama's womb? So as you pass through her birth canal, that's when we are exposed to it. So for those of you who had gone through a natural birth, we get the bacteria from our mama. Second, when she feeds us breastfed, we get those bacteria. And then now science says, even when you are in her womb, you can be coming into contact to her microbiota. That means we literally start getting what our mothers carry. So if our mothers don't have a good set of bacteria, that means we are going to, very likely, we are going to get affected as well. So it is starting from the very beginning. And as we grow, the numbers and the diversity changes. It's supposed to be increasing. Again, I'm going to show you what could be our habits that is sabotaging these guys. So here are some stuff that influences this ecosystem. First and most, yes, obvious one, food, the food that we eat, okay? And then if you really think about it, the environment we live in. So it's like to the extent of what you're spraying at home as air fresheners, what are you using as liquid dishwashers, all these counts. Okay, and our daily habits, I'm going to tell you what are the habits in the latter part as well. So daily habits, it could be starting from how do you wake up, what kind of mindset you are in, and to the extent of what is your first food that you put in, what quality of the food that you're eating, everything counts. Okay, are you moving your body? These counts as well. And of course, there's a portion coming from our genes, our mother's microbiota, which I told you in the first slide, as well as microbes of other members in the household. So this is quite interesting, and we have the science evidence today. I'll be sharing with you as well. So your gut health and the set of diversity that you have in your body is also influenced with the family members who are living with you, as well as your spouse. Even your pets can influence. So now that means we can be influenced by the people who are surrounding us, and we are mingling most often, right? And as I said, the state of mind counts as well. So these are the influences, triggers, okay? Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of understanding role of these microbes. The very common one, we all know they need to be there to digest our food, and especially fiber, because they produce short chain fatty acids, which we call butyrate, which is really important for our immune system, as well as for other physiological benefits. And they do it by fermenting the fibers. So that's very important. And secondly, they influence your energy metabolism. So regulate your blood sugar. So for those of you who are having type 2 diabetes, or marginal sugar issues, or even you are storing fat a lot. You may be eating less, but you feel you're storing a lot of fat and you're struggling to lose weight. These microbes are playing a key role. I will tell you later about the weight loss as well. And if you don't have the right guys, they're not going to help you detoxify the chemicals that we ingest from our food. We drink from a plastic bottle. There's chemicals coming in. We eat pesticide exposed veggies, chemicals coming in. We apply creams and synthetic stuff on our skin, chemicals coming in. If we don't have the right guys with us in our system, these chemicals are not going to be detoxified. So what happens? It's going to be accumulating in your organs and your cells. It controls your immune system. This is very important, and I've been stressing about this from last 2.5 years. Your gut microbe is like the first line defense army. That means if you have a good set of armies, the moment you're exposed to any pathogen, they are going to protect you. So that's how your immune system is going to be very strong. You need these guys for sure. And brain health is very important. There's a complex nervous system, which we call enteric nervous system in our gut. And this is mainly connected to your brain. Everything is communicated very fast. So for example, if say you have had a very huge meal and then somebody calls you, hey, let's go for a buffet. Certainly you're not going to feel like you won't have an appetite, right? How is that happening? That's because the message is going from your stomach to your brain. The same thing, you had a bad food and had a very bad experience. You've been running to the toilet often. The same place you see that shop again, and your friend is like, come on, let's go and have something on there. You're not going to have it because that memory, it's again the same. Very good example I'm going to give you. Every one of us would have experienced that first date or the first love. You have to express yourself. You know those butterfly feelings that you get in your stomach? These are all to do with communication happening between your gut as well as your brain. So this is how connected we are with this gut. And then 95% of your serotonin. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that keeps you happy. So 95% of your happy chemical is secreted from your gut. So guys, if you don't have a good, healthy gut, certainly you're going to be not in a good mood. You will find yourself getting irritated quite often. And also when your gut is not in the right condition, we won't feel like doing anything, right? We are not a happy mood. And plus you will have sleep issues. That's again to do with serotonin. And lastly, your gut microbes helps you absorb nutrients and also production of vitamin K. So this is how far they are influenced. I'm going to take you through something very interesting as well. So we now call our gut as the second brain. So that means we humans have two brains, unlike other things. So now your brain inside the skull has about 85 billion neurons. It has 100 neurotransmitters. It produces 50% of dopamine. Dopamine is your reward chemical. You know, when you achieve a target or when you crave for something and you eat that chocolate, that moment, that is dopamine. And then 5% of your happy whole neurotransmitter is coming from your brain, only 5%. So your second brain which is your gut, has 500 million neurons, 40 neurotransmitters, 50% of your dopamine, and 95% serotonin. Okay, so these are the guys that is responsible for your craving. So when you have stressed and you feel like grabbing that crisp, or you want that tub of ice cream or chocolate bar, that is to do with your second brain, not your first brain. This is the guy who is managing it. Here's a very good, interesting research I want to share. It is so relevant to those who are struggling or lacking motivation for exercise. Many have I have come across in my, like, they start with a New Year resolution. Beginning of the year, you go and take the membership for the gym, or you're working out. You'll do it for a couple of weeks or even a month. Eventually, you lack motivation. You don't feel motivated, and then you start blaming yourself. Oh my God, I'm not consistent. I can't do this. I don't have the willpower. Guys, I have good news. Science now says, there was a recent study done in Pennsylvania. They found there are, in mice actually, certain types of microbes can produce endocannabinoids. Endocannabinoids are like cannabis of the brain, human version. So what does that do? Cannabis will elevate your dopamine. Remember, dopamine is your reward neurochemical, right? So when you don't have a rewarding chemical coming out, when you exercise, you don't feel motivated. Our motivation is all about this dopamine, right? No matter what criteria it is, which part of our life that we need to get motivated. It's also to connect it with the dopamine, reward chemical. So when you don't have the right set of bacteria, you're not going to get this dopamine secreted. So if you feel lack motivation to exercise, understand you don't have the right beings helping you with this dopamine. So this is very important as well. And some more mood enhancing neurotransmitters that are related is one I told about, serotonin, dopamine, we know, GABA. This is like your calming chemical. If you can't calm yourself, if you're somebody who is already getting anxiety, even somebody comes and just prick you, you get annoyed. And these things, if you find as a habitual thing happening quite frequent, that could be a sign that you may need to look into your gut pets. Cortisol, we all know about it, stress hormone. If you don't have good gut bacteria, your stress hormone is not going to come down. Lastly, oxytocin. Oxytocin is the love, bonding neurotransmitter. And when we don't have enough good bacteria, we won't be able to have this love and bonding, whether love ourselves or even love others. Now, this is something I feel very important. The signs, the SOS signals that your body could be telling you that you have a gut issue. If you like, you can take a picture of this slide. First one is if you are obese or if you're struggling to lose weight, you may have gone on a diet. You are very good in restricting all your food that you need to avoid. You're exercising well, yet you find yourself not budging. That scale is not moving at all, or that visceral fat, the belly fat is not coming down at all. This is the time you may want to look into your gut pets. Because when you don't have the right set of gut bacteria, they are not going to be able to help you to regulate your blood sugar. Plus, you will not be utilizing those fat. You will be literally storing those fat. I'm going to give you more examples of what kind of bacteria can influence this. Fatigue is another one. If you're someone finding yourself by midday, you're running out of battery, your charge is going down, you're tired for no reason, that's one sign. Skin rashes, sudden skin rashes will cause because of this gut bacteria imbalance. Autoimmune condition, very common. I've been helping a lot of people on this. One of the core problem is imbalance in gut bacteria. Not falling asleep or finding it difficult to wake up, insomnia, sleeping issues is relevant to the gut health. Type 2 diabetes. If you are building a sign of coming up with signs of insulin resistance and sensitivity, it's to do with this, guys. Anxiety, we spoke about it. Cravings. I want to give you a little bit of examples on the cravings because it's very common and every one of us have experienced. You go on a diet, you're restricting. This is the time you say, okay, I'm avoiding all the sugary food, all the baddies, no more chocolates, no more chocolate cake, no more crisp, all these things, and you're okay to go a few days. Then you start finding yourself, something hits, you're stressed at work, you have to finish your target, and then this builds up, this craving all of a sudden comes up and you cannot control. You will be like, oh my God, and you have to either go and grab that thing or you end up beating yourself up. I'm like, I don't have willpower. Why am I craving the very thing that I want to get rid of? This is not your willpower. This is not you. Here's the thing. I'm going to give you an example. If you have more yeast, then you will crave for sugar. If you have more bacteroidetes, these names are just don't worry about the names. You will enjoy more fat. You will need fatty food. If you have Prevotella, then you will love carbs. If you have bifidobacteria, you will love fiber-rich food. So now these guys have a crazy method of asking you, and they can be really nasty. What's going to happen is, remember I told you we have more than 5,000 species, right? And each of them desire different type of foods. Now we go on a restricted diet all of a sudden. And at that time, we don't know what is the situation in our gut, how many baddies and how many goodies are there. So what happens? You're all of a sudden depriving them from their favorite food. So they're starving. Now they become cranky. They are nasty. They release toxins. And these toxins will cause you feel very in a bad mood and you start craving. They even go to the extent of changing your tongue palates. And the moment you go and grab that tub of ice cream or take that first bite of that slab of chocolate, we say, oh, gosh, I've been longing for this. I'm sure you can relate to this, right? Every one of us have experienced it. And what's happening there is they immediately, when you feed them, your tongue palates, the cannabinoids receptors are becoming activated and dopamine is released. That's why your rewarding chemical is coming out and you feel satisfied. So next time you feel craving, understand it's not your willpower, it's to do with these baddies. Migraine is a very common thing when you don't have a balanced gut health. Inflammation, if you have sudden joint pains, or if you have, if you wake up with some pain, it's to do with imbalanced gut bacteria. Food intolerance, this is again very common. You might be eating everything under the sun when you were young, and in mid-30s or mid-age, even sometimes now teenagers are coming up with these issues. You find yourself, you cannot tolerate milk, dairy, or wheat. These things are due to imbalance in gut bacteria. Bloatedness, diarrhea, constipation, very common. You will find it. Gut dysbiosis is a very common problem where you eat something, you get bloated, or you're running to the toilet. That is an imbalanced state of gut health, which is very common in many of us, and I've been there as well. So these are the unhealthy gut signs you need to pay attention to. Now, I told you about the weight loss, right? I want to give you a little bit of science here. Now, science today says what type of bacteria is influencing our weight loss. So when you have a lot of firmicutes than bacteroidetes, so that means 60% firmicutes and 40% bacteroidetes, then you're going to be struggling to lose weight. Even though you're doing everything else right, you will struggle to lose weight. So this is one of the science. And they even went to the extent of finding out, the good news is, I told you the members in your household can influence your diversity. The science have found that when you keep a fat mouse with a thin mouse in the same cage, they found the fat mouse started losing weight and the thin mouse started gaining weight. What had happened is they started eating their own feces and the microbes started exchanging into each other. So that means the good news is, if at all we have the baddies outraging the goodies, with our right habits, we can reverse this. It's not impossible. Okay, so this is the science. I mean, we have enough of science done on this, and I just wanted to give you a very simple example here. 12 things that disrupt these guys. Now that we know these guys are important, I want to give you some of the habits that you might be doing in your daily life. Overuse of antibiotics, very common. Guys, don't misunderstand me. I'm a pharmacologist coming from a biomedical research background, so I'm not against antibiotics. All I'm saying is, when we take a course of antibiotics, you are not only killing the baddies, you're killing the goodies as well. So we got to be responsible enough to bring these guys back once you finish a course. So for example, it will take about 1 to 4 weeks normally to get the bacteria back. The problem is we may not get the entire numbers unless we focus. So we need to do, I'll tell you what to do in other slides. So make sure if at all you're on antibiotics, make sure that you're being responsible enough to bring these guys back. Western diet, the food, these are your bakery goodies, your bad fats and refined carbs, refined sugar. These are going to kill your good guys. And lack of physical activity. If you're someone who is always sitting in front of the laptop and not getting a chance to move around, at least try and bring in some exercise or something like that. Lack of sleep. If you're not sleeping in the right time, or if not getting the right hours of sleep, that will also disrupt. Birth control is a very common issue. Birth control pills will disrupt your good bacteria. Pesticides on the food, I mentioned this, and environmental toxins. I was talking about, what you're spraying at home as air fresheners, your deodorants, all these things can affect. Tobacco, obvious one, alcohol, overly using of alcohol consumption. That's again one big problem. Exposure to pathogens, some virus, some bacteria that enters into our system can kill your good bacteria in your body. If not, they cannot survive. So they can attack. So this is how we fall sick, right? And overuse of hand sanitizers. I actually put this because of the last 2 years of experience. We've been spraying a lot of hand sanitizers on our skin, right? Of course, our intention is to be safe. Same time, remember I told you we have good bacteria on our skin. You're destroying your good bacteria as well. So that means there's a communication happening from your skin to your gut. And these guys are saying, hey, we lost this guy's here. So there's an imbalance. Toothpaste is a very common issue. Fluorides and other chemicals will kill the good bacteria in your mouth. And of course, stressful life. If you are running a stressful life, if you're not allowing yourself to wind down, calm down, then if your cortisol is always in the highest rate, your fight or flight mode, that means your digestive system is shut down. You're not going to be able to digest properly. Plus, all your good armies are dying as well. So make sure the stress in your life, daily life, is not overpowering your health as well. Okay, these are the nuggets that I told you in the beginning that you can take and apply immediately. First and most is how you're going to improve your gut health by the food. So I like to call it CRAP. Easy to remember. CRAP, C stands for carbonated drinks, R for refined sugar, A for artificial foods, and P for processed food. You can take a picture of the examples. I'm going to give you only a few. I'm not going to go through everything here. So CRAP, refined carbs and refined sugar. These are your pastas, bakery goodies, added sugar, carbonated drinks, artificial sweeteners. So if you take the label and if you see any ingredient that ends with O's at the last 2 through 3 letters, OSE, that means these are bad sugars. Sauces, energy bars, candies, and oil. This bad oil is one of the biggest issue that we all experience. Canola oil, sunflower oil, vegetable oil, soy oil, margarine, all these are unsaturated oils and it is not good at all. And if at all, if you ask me what am I going to have instead of this, I would suggest coconut oil. or avocado oil, olive oil. These are good for you. And not, this is in general, we should not, inflammatory oils we should be avoiding for any means. And antibiotic induced meat. We do have the options of choosing meat from the local farms here, as well as now it says antibiotic free chicken. So choose those ones, as well as try and avoid canned food and chips. So here's a very easy tip I can give you. When you go into the supermarket, anything that is in the middle aisles are all going to be something to do with this kind of issues. Try and spend more time in the periphery. These are the fresh, straight from the mother nature. Of course, it is exposed to pesticides, and now we do have options of farmers market and local farmers here. So that's something that you can go for, and at least choose some vegetables which can be organic. Okay. Here's another important thing is now we love to know about the different types of food that we avoid. But the problem is when we avoid these things, we need to bring in the good guys. If not, we are going to kill these pets, right? So according to the science and the nutritional aspect, we believe at least we should be eating 50 different types of plants per week. So now, if you really think about it, when we go into these salads and these choices of veggies, we have a monotonous habit, right? We don't want to try different things. And we are always, if you look, you are always eating the same type of salads. If you can bring in as a challenge and say, okay, this week I'm going to bring in 50 different types of plant food. Go and see whatever you have not eaten in your life. Try that from the supermarket. And even if it's like simple as bringing in some herbs, throwing in some herbs. And this is something that you can do. The reason is, here's the biggest mistake we all do. When we have those kind of symptoms, many come to me saying, okay, I went and got this probiotic. I was prescribed this probiotic. I did the probiotic, but yet I can't shift. I saw some signs of improvement, but I'm still in the same phase, I feel. The problem is, probiotics, I'm not saying probiotics are bad, but what's the use of you bringing these good bacteria if you're failing to feed them? It's like you're bringing a cute little puppy home and you're not taking care of that puppy and feeding them. It'll die. So if you're not careful on feeding these guys, obviously they're not going to be there with you for a long time. So you got to make sure that you're feeding them. Remember, I told you they need diversity of food. So that brings us to the next habit, the 3 Ps. Probiotic-rich food is natural fermented food that have good bacteria. Kefir, sauerkraut, kombucha, and kimchi, pickled vegetable. If you're buying it from store, make sure there's no sugar or synthetic stuff added in it. And then now that you brought them into your system, you need to eat right. So that is prebiotic foods. These are the fiber-rich foods, like the flax seeds, the asparagus, all these. So that's why I told you to eat variety of veggies and stuff. Lastly, polyphenols. This is a key, rich in antioxidant. And these are like your olives, fennel, cloves, organic coffee, green tea, raw cacao, celery, and moderate. If you are someone who is into alcohol, I would suggest a good non-synthetic red wine in a moderate level is also good according to the science. The next step would be fasting. It's a beautiful time of the year where all of us are in this fasting, and I would suggest, according to the studies, 24 hours of liquid fast, water fast, has shown to change your diversity overnight. So according to the studies, people who had done 24-hour water fast, you will start producing a new line along the digestive system, plus you will have a new set of bacteria. Now, if you're not someone who are used to this kind of longer fast, I strongly suggest don't jump immediately. You have to gradually build your hours. Best is to work with a nutritionist or a practitioner who will guide you in the right way. Alternate day fasting is also known for that, and 5 days water fast is extremely good according to the research studies. And the other important stuff would be include diet variation, which is very, very, very important. I have seen a lot of people making this mistake. We find the keto diet to be very good and we are losing weight. Perfect. You're very healthy, you're active and everything. What's happening here? You're sabotaging some of your good bacteria with the food when you're not focusing in good carbs. Remember? So never, we human are not meant to be going and eating a particular diet for a longer period. We are supposed to shuffle in and out. So have a diversity, unless otherwise you have your own reasons of being a particular diet like vegans or whatever. Make time for quality sleep. I told you about that, and make sure that you're sleeping in the right time and waking up in the right time. Reduce your stress. Go for a walk, even when you're working. Take a 10 minutes break and go. If you have some small space near your office, just go and walk and come. It'll make your big difference, and even your cortisol level will come. You have a stressful meeting, just go for a 5 minutes walk and come back. Just walk out and come. That will bring your cortisol down, as well as go into deep breathing, meditation, probiotics, adding more pets. I told you about that, and get your hands dirty. This is something in our early age, we had the privilege of being outdoor, playing, touching the soil. These days, kids don't get that exposure. We are so, living in this boxed life. So get yourself exposed to these things, as well as meditate often. There was a research done in monks, Buddhist monks who were meditating quite often, and they found they had better bacteria diversity than normal people, and their immune system was much higher as well. So meditation can help, and there's a particular meditation that we practice which is focusing on our gut health as well. So now that you know what to do and what could be the habits and the symptoms, I don't want you to just leave this place just, okay, now I know. The problem is because as we move out to our daily lifestyle, we forget about this thing. And health is always the last thing for most of us in our agenda, which was in my life as well. So to make your life easy, we have created a challenge. It's very simple, nothing major. You can do it without any effort, and you don't need to change your lifestyle. No matter how busy you are, you can jump in. And what's going to happen is, this is particularly for people who, the symptoms I spoke about, and I've given you the list here as well. If you are someone who is experiencing, no matter whichever the level it is, but you feel, I've tried it, I want to do it, but I don't know where to start, this is for you. Jump in. It's on the 1st of May, 15 days. What's going to happen is, I'm going to give you structured diet plan. I'm going to give you how to eat, shopping list, my best recipes, all are in downloadable. And during this time and for the next 15 days after the challenge, you will get access to my faculty, where you have ample of materials, science-based videos explaining why I'm saying, because I like to give you the basic education. If not, you're not going to change your life if I just tell you without you knowing why it is. You also get an opportunity to be a part of a global closed group, so you're not alone doing this. It will be a very good encouragement. In the past, we have seen a great support on this. Plus, you have a live session with me twice and on a Zoom. If you can't make it, no worries, the recordings are available. You can do it in your own face. So the whole point is that you will take the step in choosing health and reversing. So you can scan this barcode to go and see into the page more information about this challenge, and also some of the testimonies from the previous participants. we have done is we have given a special price for all of you who are here today and coming under Willis recommendation. So you get a 90 dirhams. Unlike others, you will only pay 90 dirhams. So that's a discounted price for the entire 15 days. It's a fabulous price for the first time we are doing it. To get this registration for this price, this is the barcode, because the others are going to be paying a higher price. So please take a picture of this if this is something that you are interested. And lastly, if you want to connect with me, if you do have anything, if you're sitting there and wondering, oh my God, I have these things, but I need to talk a little bit more about my, one-on-one or something on that sort, I'm here for you. I'm happy to offer a 15 minutes pre-consultation call. All you got to do is reach out to me either through Instagram, this is my barcode, or write to me on my email. I'll be happy to give you that free time and we can discuss about your issues. Thank you so much, guys. Remember, a healthy gut is a healthy you. We all heard that, we are what we eat. I would always say we are what our gut pets are. So please, please take care of your gut pets. Thank you.
Thanks, Kiru. I will read out the questions for it. There are quite a good number of questions. I'll read out for your answers. So the first question is, when prebiotic and probiotic intake as prescribed by doctor, my digestion is very good. How and what food intake will improve my gut health because I'm a diabetic patient?
So the dietitian has already given the description, is it? What's the question again, please?
Yeah, so I presume the question is not complete. So I presume that the member is prescribed with prebiotic and probiotic supplements, and while he or she is taking it, he's perfectly okay. But now he or she wants to know what kind of food can be taken to improve the gut health, and particularly for the condition diabetes.
So basically, first of all, when it's diabetics, if it's type 2, of course, you need to be careful on the high glycemic index food, which is like, eating a lot of potatoes, carrots, and root veggies, and so on, which you would have already got some instruction from your doctor. So what's going to happen? I would suggest is remember the food that I just gave you in the slides, if you had noticed that. And what you need to do is, first of all, avoid the inflammatory oils and refined stuff, those things that I told you to avoid. Bring in more, while you're going on the supplements, make sure you're providing enough fiber. So that means bring in more varieties of greens and veggies. So ideally, as an example, when you're doing a salad bowl, just throw in some leaves, and even there are edible flowers you can find in spinneys, or in the salad box there are flowers. You can buy those ones and start trying more varieties of greens and veggies. It doesn't have to be always raw. You can stir fry or do whatever, but make sure that you know the 30 varieties I said per week. If you can bring that, that will be good. I mean, this is something that we're going to be doing in the challenge as well. I'm going to tell you what to buy, and that's the challenge. Where are we going to eat? How many more varieties? That's the key, because I believe if you feed them right, and also in this case, because you're diabetic, just make sure that you're not overly feeding yourself with high glycemic food. I hope that helped. Yeah, Veena, can we go to the next question?
So the next question is, I start every day with cold water mixed with lemon juice, turmeric.
Turmeric, yeah.
I can't hear you, Kiru. Sorry.
You can't hear me?
Going to the next question, Kiru.
Yeah.
You're able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You're able to hear me, Kiru?
Yes, I can
Okay.
hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, perfect. Going to the next question. I start every morning with cold water mixed with lemon juice, uh, turmeric, cinnamon, and ginger. Is it really helping to keep gut healthy?
Turmeric, lemon, yes, it will help you with your immune system as well as cleansing, because ginger, turmeric, lemon will help in those forms. That's only one part. So you need to, it is not going to be bringing in good bacteria. It is only a way of cleansing and keeping your immune system better. But to help your gut bacteria, you need to bring in good bacteria through fermented food. So maybe you can try a little bit of apple cider vinegar if you like. Again, it's all general because it has to be bio-individuality. Whatever I say to you today, you have to take it according to what your body likes. So some people cannot drink acidic drinks in the morning. So if at all you want to bring in a little bit of, you can try kombucha on some days, or you can try apple cider vinegar, organic apple cider vinegar with mother culture. That means it has some good bacteria in it, not the filtered one. But this, what you're doing is good for your health overall. If you ask me, is it bringing in good bacteria? No, you need to do one of those what I explained.
Going to the next question, Kiru. What is your view on dairy products and gut health, especially for women in perimenopause, premenopause and menopausal years?
What products? What was the first word you said? What is your
What
view
is your view on dairy products?
Dairy products? Okay, dairy
and gut health,
yeah.
especially for women in premenopause and menopausal years.
Okay, so for dairy products, I'm not someone who says don't take dairy products. I would say dairy products is okay as long as your body is aligned with it and if it's accepting. All you got to do is choose the ones which are grass-fed, coming from grass-fed cows or goat or whatever, and antibiotic-free. The problem is when you are taking dairy products and if it is infused with a lot of antibiotics, remember I told bacteria. Of course, this dairy products in injection of these is going to kill your good bacteria. So that's the only concern for me as a nutritional aspect, dairy products, unless otherwise you have any intolerance. That's all you need to look at. With regards to perimenopausal women needs to be concentrating a lot in good carbs. These are good carbs like tropical fruits and veggies and good proteins as well, according to your cycle. So yes, dairy products are good, provided antibiotic free and pesticides free.
What
We
is
can go to
your
the
yeah.
yeah.
What is your view on intermittent fasting? Is it suitable approach to support and repair damaged gut health? How many hours are recommended in an intermittent fasting?
So as I said, explained in my talk, fasting, intermittent fasting, if you want to focus particularly for gut health, 24 hours. That's the renowned research-backed hours. Water fast. And then the second one is alternate day fasting. So that means you eat one day and you do one meal a day kind of thing the next day. Then 5 days of water fast. So I teach people on how to fast. This is one of the niche. And my suggestion to you, if you are someone who had not been fasting longer hours. Don't jump for 24 hours immediately. Gradually build. It's like building your muscles when you do exercise, right? You need to gradually build. Plus, you need to make sure you're breaking your fast with the right types of food if you want to focus on the gut health. It is very vital, because if you're not eating right as you break your fast, you will be blocking your healing process as well. So you need to combine both together. So, I mean, join our challenge. This is what we're going to be doing for the 15 days.
Is there any type of bread alternative, especially for kids?
In general, I will say keep away from refined
Kiru, you
carbs.
can hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello, we can't hear you, Kiru. Can you repeat?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So in general, I would say avoid for kids refined carbs in any means. This is your wheat, flour, and so on. So if at all you want to bring in millet flour, as well as kurakans and different types of millets, almond flour, coconut flour. These are better options, or even any gluten-free flour for that matter. If it's much better if you can go for organic. You'll find those in the organic section in any supermarkets.
What are your thought process on fermented food? Can it cause stomach ache?
Fermented foods is what I encourage people. As I said, it's a probiotic rich food. Here's the catch. If you're buying anything from store, you need to look at the ingredients. If it is going to have any synthetic ingredient, yes, it's not going to do any help. If it's going to have sugar, it's not going to help. So go and look into those, and preferably if you can make it by yourself, it's much easier. If not, buy a good brand which doesn't have any harmful ingredients.
Okay, in between we missed you, so I will just repeat what we understood from what you said. Is fermented food is the best to consider for gut health. However, if it is a store fermented food, it's important to see the labels if there is any synthetic content to it or there is sugar to it, because if there is, it will not help. So it is better to have a home fermented food. Is my understanding correct?
Yeah. Can you hear me now? Yes, that's right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Now, going to the next question, there are a lot of probiotic yogurts available in the supermarket. Is it good to consume? Is there benefit out of those probiotic yogurts?
It depends on the brand. You go and read the label, and if it's having any sort of sugar, avoid it. So my explanation is, I said kefir. Kefir without any sugar added in it or any artificial stuff added. The regular kefir itself is good. And if you want to make it fancy, especially if you're bored of eating a straightforward kefir, you can add your own blueberries and strawberries at home instead of going and buying something like a fruit flavor, because most often it is with some sort of added sugar. And otherwise, yogurts are good. You again read the label. Remember I said about these dyes and these numbers and all those things, those are not going to be helpful. Is that all, Veena? Can you hear me?
Kiru, you can hear me? Due to some reason, we lost Kiru. Give us.
No. Okay, I'm here. You're muted. Can you see me?
Yeah. Okay. Now the question is, Kiru, that there is a member who is suffering with nail psoriasis, and for the past 4 years, there is a methotrexate drug for some time. The member is taking methotrexate for some time. Right now, it's in control. But do you think with gut health program or any other gut health related treatment, this can be treated?
Psoriasis is certainly relevant to gut health. Again, it is something that you need to also, I normally wouldn't say come out of your doctor's medication and do an alternative option. While you're on it, and if at all you want to choose an alternative medicines like holistic approach or functional medicine treatments, my recommendation is to keep your doctor in the loop, keep them informed, and then start changing it on a one-on-one. Ideally, if it's something that you need to go on a one-on-one basis with a practitioner, where it can be looked upon in the right way, because it's also to do with gut health mainly. Plus, there are other things that you need to work on as well. So, and while you're concentrating on your gut health, you also need to make sure the other parts of your life that is impacting, especially now we can say that your stress and your energy body is also impacting as a side effect to the psoriasis. So everything it's a process. You may have to work on yourself depending on your bio-individuality, what your body needs, the time takes. So yes, to answer, yes, gut health, looking into the gut health will certainly help you.
What's the first thing we have to drink or eat in the morning for a healthy gut? Warm water and fruits or dry fruits, is it okay to be taken in the first thing in the morning?
It all depends on, again, individual. I cannot generally say, oh, go and take this. General speaking, it depends on your age, your health goals and everything. So breakfast, I would always say, go for something natural. Instead of synthetic. This is because it's a general forum. I cannot tell you specifically eat this, because it doesn't apply that way. Every one of us are different, and bio-individuality applies your age, your health goals. Generally, I would suggest take a natural breakfast. That means eggs, natural forms, not the synthetic box cereals and sort of things. Good proteins and good carbs, whatever it is you want, or the fruits, even if you choose to go for fruits, it's up to you.
Yeah, so when you're referring as natural resources, Kiru, should I mention the oats is a natural resource?
Oats is natural, provided it is not infused with other stuff. Like, if it's like muesli, it does have oats, but it's also with sugar and all those things. And if you can go for whole meal oats which are not cleaned and steeled and all those things, you have those instant. I prefer non-instant, for example. So less manipulation, straight from the mother nature. So if you really think about it, if you're choosing something, look for things that man has manipulated less. Those are good for you.
Kiru, what is your thought on apple cider vinegar? Having apple cider vinegar, is it good for gut health?
Yeah, apple cider is always good. But again, I prefer you choosing with mother culture. If you're focusing on gut health, go for apple cider, non-filtered, organic mother culture ones. I've been showing some of the brands on Instagram. So if you can check out the Instagram, what are some of the brands which are available. I've shown some pictures, what is best. Always read the label and choose organic, unfiltered with mother.
Yeah, so just to explain it further, by mother, it is that because apple, it's made out of apple, so there is a little bit of a pulp and the remains of apple, which is there, and it's not filtered. It would not be crystal clear. While we buy, you can see the pulp of that apple, the
More than
remains,
the
the
pulp.
fibers.
Yeah, more than the pulp. When I say mother, it's actually with the bacteria culture without filtering. So that means good bacteria, which fermented, it is also there. You know what I
And
mean?
what time of the day would you recommend to be taken?
I mean, it again depends on what is the name motive. If it's for gut health, yes, it is said empty stomach is always good. But if it's something, I normally throw it in all my salad dressings. So throughout the day as well. Yes, of course, certainly empty stomach is recommended. I would say just incorporate it in any of your salads and soups and everything. But don't cook with it, just drizzle it in anything, because the more the merrier.
So there is a question on recording. So yes, this is recorded. You may click on the same link to refer to the recordings. Is there a test to diagnose bad bacteria? Are these bad bacteria related to skin allergies? Is there a test to diagnose bad bacteria? Are this okay? It is the same question. Is there a test to find out
so
if
there's
we
something called gut zoomer, which I help a lot of my clients. It is not something cheap, but of course, it's an accurate, detailed, I would say, report which tells you what type of bacteria you're having and all those things, the compositions of the diversity. And yes, bad bacteria reflect, as I showed you, one of the symptoms I showed you in the picture, remember? Yes. If you're developing a sudden skin rashes, most likely it could be related to your gut health as well. That is not the only cause, but it is also the cause.
How many liters of water improves gut health?
Hydration is important, and I'm not someone who will always say in general, oh, drink 5 liters or drink 4 liters, depending on your body mass, depending on your type of work. If you are someone who is working outdoor, especially in Dubai, and if I say, oh, drink 3 liters, this is normal general, it's not right, because you're evaporating a lot, right? So whatever you feel is adequate for your body. And water does help gut health, provided it's the right quality of water, because I wouldn't expect the water to give me benefits if I'm drinking it from plastic bottled water. So my recommendation is always hydrogen molecules rich antioxidants electrolyzed water, which is always a recommended water for gut health, which is something that I teach.
Does salt, table salt, pink salt, rock salt, have any effect, positive or negative, on the gut health?
Salt is, again, if it is a good quality salt, a pure sea salt or pure Himalayan salt will always help. How? Because it will help your mineral absorptions and also mineral deficiencies and a balance in your electrolytes, which again has an impact. I wouldn't say a direct, but yes, it could help you. But don't go for, synthetic ones, if you can get natural ones.
I am having 1 teaspoon of ghee or clarified butter, empty stomach. Is it good?
Yeah, it's a good fat. Yes, ghee is good.
My breakfast is white bread in the morning. What is the alternative for bread? I think we answered this question already, that it could be any kind of non-processed carbs and proteins, which can be egg, oats, anything which is not processed.
Yeah.
Okay, there is another question. What brands for apple cider vinegar found in UAE? And so that is the question which Ms. Kiru already answered, that on her Instagram page she has put the kind of brands which is available here locally and is good. So that is
Anything
something
that says organic and with mother, just by if you're going to Carrefour or any supermarkets, go to the organic section. You will find it will be a little bit expensive than the normal ones, but it's worth it. Yeah.
Okay, going to the last. Kiru, if you can just repeat the food which is rich in prebiotic and probiotic quickly, someone to put it in their head that these are the quick food to have.
So probiotics are fermented food, kimchi, sauerkraut, kombucha, kefir, right? And anything that is fermented veggies or pickles, provided without any artificial sugar and synthetics. And prebiotics are different types of veggies, basically plant food that comes from with high in fiber. So these are your chia seeds, all types of seeds, nuts, as well as asparagus, celery, and even different types of greens. All these have prebiotics in some sort. Artichokes and all those things are high in fiber. So choose something that is high in fiber. And polyphenols are like your green tea, raw cacao, and a good quality coffee, organic, mold-free coffee, and then all the berries are rich in polyphenols, as well as olives, one of the highest. So those are the ones.
Yeah, so basically the entire idea is prebiotic is something which set the environment in the gut for the probiotic to work properly. And
so yes, so probiotic is your through fermented food, you're bringing in the guys, you're bringing in your pets inside your system. Prebiotic and polyphenols are the way you feed them. So when the whole point of our approach is you bring in the good people, so the bad people eventually dies off because the population of the good people increase. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.